Oi, bana mambo vipi? Leo nipo kwa ajili ya kuonyesha kitu kinaitwa
waiting to cast just one vote. So we'll be giving you an update on the developing story here in
Kufanya mambo hapa. Nataka angalia uchaguzi hapo Kenya. Wengine wanasiasa.
Elections were not only acrimonious but rather divisive, with fear after taste is still being felt today. Well, today marks the moment of truth as Kenyans vote the polls not only to elect 47 governors, members of parliament, representatives, as well as MCs. As the two rival presidential candidates meet for a rematch alongside the 6 presidential candidates following this from the beginning to the very end. Results will be announced as we speak. We have been giving you live coverage from Nairobi, Kenyan, Mombasa, Kisumu, and where Kenyans and their leaders alike continue to cast their vote. And of course, this being D-Day, leaders both locally and internationally continue to give messages of peace, asking Kenyans to come out and turn out in large numbers. This is a first-round win. Many political pundits saying a runoff would be painful for the country. It's about 10 past the hour, voting across the country going on seamlessly in most of the polling stations. Glitches here and there, several polling stations, voters failed to be identified using voter identification system. Many raising questions as to why that was able to happen. But then again, this has been termed as Kenya's expensive election. Definitely the most expensive in Kenya's history, among the most expensive with the costing about 49.9 million shillings. The high cost of this election will be felt and the benefit received within this simple cost of purchasing biometric voter registration devices cost about 9 million shillings, but that was a massive flop, costing taxpayers 9 million shillings. All the 49.9 billion shillings that has been used this year in the procurement of the Kenyan system pay off. Well, only time will tell. Continue tracking the voting process. Queues continue growing longer. Political pundits throughout the entire campaign period saying water apathy may be seen at play in this election. It be too early to tell, but from the queues that we have seen, many Kenyans are coming out to exercise their democratic rights. Now, as it stands, it remains IBC, of course, they're saying that nobody is allowed to take any pictures at the polling stations or around the polling stations. And of course, Kenyans being asked to cast their vote and go back home and follow this voting process at home. It is now 12 minutes past the hour. This is the morning edition of Kivumbi 2017. We're giving you comprehensive coverage of this highly anticipated election. We take a short commercial break, but do stay with us. We have more live coverage from all across the country coming up in just a few moments.
Your election coverage starts here. Kivumbi 2017.
Hivyo kitambaa kufikia vumbi au vumbi haisababishi kizima.
Simu ya tocha.
Tochi. Ndio kama muziki hapa.
Simu yako haina tocha? Kongo ndo natumia hapa net.
Unasoma namba? Za simu au?
And we agreed on the reason. The reason is our children. That is why we need to go to the ballot and put in our votes, have our voice heard. We have been beaten blue, we have been beaten orange, we have been beaten red, and our children don't have to be. 3 electors cards down the line, so many lessons learned, and a reason to vote.
Election station.
It is the moment of truth for Kenyans as voters cast their ballots in the general election. There are 19.6 million voters, and the are the leaders. It is the moment of truth for Kenyans as voters cast their ballots to make their voice heard on governance by exercising the authority they wield every 5 years. There are 8 presidential candidates in this election, and at the county level, 14,552 candidates are competing for 1,882 positions. And on Kivumbi 2017, this hour, we will be bringing you live updates from our journalists covering this election, not only from polling stations across Kenya, but we will also take a look at polling stations in the East African region. The diaspora vote is being cast in Kampala, Uganda, Arusha and Dar es Salaam in Tanzania, Kigali in Rwanda, and also in Pretoria in South Africa. Right now, our reporters, we have them as you can see on the ground. Some of them include Shadrach Miti, who's going to be joining us from Eldoret. We also have Ashley Mazuri right from here in Nairobi. In Donholm, we understand that there are quite a number of developments there. She's going to be talking to us about that. But we also have our reporters from Busia, Kakamega, Mombasa, Kirinyaga, Meru, you name it. Here on KTN News, we're ready, of course, to cover the elections the only way we can. All right, so my name is Betty Kello. We start with Shadrach Miti, who's going to be giving us an update live from Eldoret. Shadrach, talk to us about what's really happening on the ground so far. How's the voting going so far?
Well, Betty, we managed to walk around the Uasin Gishu county at least to get a feel of what is really going on. And so far, the place we've been, we can really tell the process began so well. And it has been going on so well. We've experienced long queues in places we have been, and here where we are right now, this is Tarbo constituency at Kosachei Primary School. This is where the Deputy President William Ruto is set to cast his ballot in the next few moments. But so far, as you can see from my camera's pan, we have 2 lines. That means this polling station has about 950 registered voters. And remember, the IBC rule is that every stream has to have not more than 700. For that matter, this polling station has been to 2 polling centers, each having 470 registered voters. And so one good thing, one major aspect of constituency voters, but that the current MB is not defending its seat after he was trounced by Mr. Kevin Okwara on the Jubilee ticket. But Okwara himself has another mountain to climb following the another independent candidate, that is Janet CTNA, who seems to be causing him a lot of sleepless night. And so we're expecting that after the Deputy President William Ruto comes here to vote in the next few moments, because we are told the way coming, to see how other things will be panning across the Tarbo constituency within Uasin Gishu County. Betty.
All right, thank you very much, Shadrach Miti, for that update live from Eldoret. Remember, we also want to hear what your experience is like. We want you to share your experience at the polling station when you vote. Just share that. Hashtag to use, of course, is Kivumbi 2017, or you can choose to tweet me at Betty M. Kialo. We'll now want to cross over live to Mombasa. As you've seen some of the pictures there, Mombasa Governor Hassan Joho casting his ballot right there. Pictures coming to us live from the polling station. A jovial Hassan Joho, Mombasa Governor there, just casting his ballot for this election. There you go, pictures coming to you live from Mombasa.
Mbona mimi nani niungua hapo? Nikwambie kitu. Umeme unapita hapo na shida kidogo. Mimi maana ni kompyuta sisi ilienda kuzungua beti. Nimetaja hiyo tukako leo mama. Inanitesa kubetria la laptop. Umeme hapo si salama sana. Unakuja siku ndogo, tunakujaje sijaelewa yani. Ndio unaangalia. Ndio sauti. Muziki wetu. Ndio unaangalia. Chana ikipata hiyo na nini basi. Ukipata hiyo tilivyo sawa wala hiyo testi. Soma nishaizima tena. Haisikiki tena. Au sio? Ni jamani toka nasoma shule yani ile tunaona nasikia sauti yangu ile watu wasiki. Unajua pia tena jua yani kwa yani mimi kwenye chumba chetu kwa wawili. Ndio tunasikika yani mmekaa wote tulikuwa tunapiga story. Au Charles. Mkana mimi nanikomesha yani. Tuko wapi? Kwa tunyima hichi njani kwa futi basi kwa tunaongeza beef. Nikidemu. Ifikaji. Sasa
Ashley, if you can hear me, just talk to us about the situation where you are. All right. We understand that we cannot communicate there with Ashley, but we're going to correct that in a few seconds. For now, though, let's cross over live to Carol Nderi in Nyeri. Carol, how's everything going on where you are? Did you experience any delays in some of the polling stations?
Good morning to you, Betty. Yes, we experienced some delays early morning. We were at the Nyeri Health Center polling station. It is one of the 917 polling stations across Nyeri County. And we were there at about 6:20. The gates had not been opened. There were a bit of complaints from the voters saying that they expected the gates to have been opened by 6. But nevertheless, that did happen. The gates were eventually opened and they got in. The other challenge was that most of them were uncertain of where to queue, because the queues are dictated by the first letter or the first alphabet of your name. So there's a bit of confusion with very few people guiding the voters. And also another challenge was that the machines were taking a bit of some time to identify the fingerprints, so causing some delays. But right now, Betty, from where I am, from where we are speaking, this is the Nyeri main prison, Kingongo prison as is known. I think our cameraman Clement Masombo can just show you the queues. A very long queue of the prisoners who are waiting to exercise their civic duty and their democratic right to vote in the leaders. It is the first time for the prisoners to be involved in this kind of a process. So, of course, definitely it is exciting for them, as you can see, as Clement Masombo continues to pan and show you. It is a chilly morning, quite a wet morning in Nyeri. It's drizzling, but this hasn't stopped people yet to, they're still coming out to vote. Not just here at the prison, but also in other polling stations. As we've mentioned, there are about 917 polling stations across Nyeri County. But of course, there are also fears that, this chilly weather, kuna wala sijui watashindwa kutoka kwa blanketi, but of course, they're hoping that everybody who wants to vote will be able to do so, despite the initial teething problems and the challenges. But now that we are at the prison, before we can continue to tell you more about what is happening, let us talk to the main man in charge, Bwana Arandu, to tell us about the process here in Kingongo Prison, Nyeri County. Asante sana. We are live on KTN News. Tell us, this is exciting that the prisoners, this is the first time they are involved in this kind of, given a chance to exercise their democratic right. How many are they? Or just tell us what is happening here at the prison.
Thank you, Caro, and welcome to Nyeri Maximum Prison. Here we have 177 registered prisoners or voters amongst the prisoners. And this is the number that we expect to be able to cast their votes today. But, at the end of the day, once they are counted, that is when we establish exactly how many people voted. This is historical because ordinarily there's no other day since we got independence that inmates have been able to participate in this kind of an exercise to elect their leadership, particularly the national leader. So for sure, we are grateful as prisons fraternity, and the inmates are equally very, very excited. Okay. Thank you.
What are they saying? As you say, I'm sure they're excited. They feel like they're part of the citizenry, that they are allowed to do this just like any other Kenyan.
Yeah, indeed. Actually, initially when we started registering them in terms of giving them IDs, most of them were not very keen. And that's why you see the number who have registered are a bit low compared to the population of the prisons, because they didn't believe there would come a time when they'll be able to cast their votes to determine the leadership and the direction our country takes. So they accepted. Those who did it, those who believed us, they are here, as you can see, and they'll be able now to exercise their civic duty, chagua amani.
The larger picture, because they are here to be rehabilitated, yes, they may have committed wrongs, but they are here to be rehabilitated, to change them. What is the larger picture? Your duty as the man in charge of this prison, while you're talking taking them through the changing process, talking to them about why they need to be right members of the society. How do they perceive it? The larger picture.
First of all, I want to say we are a corrections facility, and us is about not punishment anymore, but it's about rehabilitation, empowering the inmates, giving them skills in vocational training, having them, doing psychological interventions, counseling, may it be even formal education. We have from beginners up to Form 4 and other programs that we are partnering with other organizations. For us to the public is that the inmates, yes, they may have offended, but you still cannot remain an offender for life. And that's why we are here as correctional facility to be able to rehabilitate them and empower them so that they can be useful and resourceful citizens of this country.
All right, thank you very much, Bwana Arandu, Patrick Arandu, main man in charge of the Nyeri main prison. But let us just talk to some of them. If you'll allow me, Bwana Arandu, watuambie vile unajihisi kupiga kura. Hujambo ndugu, unaitwa nani?
Mimi naitwa Wilfred Mongo Idhaka. Okay. Na ninafurahia sana kwa wakati huu kwa serikali na kutukubalia kupiga kura kwa sababu tumejisihi hata sisi tumekubalika katika Republic of Kenya.
Utanisamehe kuuliza, umekuwa hapa gerezani kwa muda gani?
Niko na miaka 17.
Miaka 17, na ni mara yako ya kwanza kupiga kura?
Hii ni mara yangu ya kwanza kupiga kura na ninafurahia sana kwa sababu tunataka maendeleo katika nchi yetu na tuweze kukumbukwa hata sisi tuwe wanadamu, watu wa Kenya.
Okay, nitakupa fursa pia kutuma ujumbe kule nyumbani kwa sababu uko ndani, lakini utawaambia nini salamu?
Watu wa nyumbani ningewaambia wapige kura na wapige na amani na wasijaribu kupigana kwa sababu tunataka maendeleo na amani.
Okay. Betty, some of the voices from the inmates at Kingongo prison, they are very excited. This is the first time that inmates are involved in this kind of a process, exercising their civic duty. Hujambo ndugu, jina lako ni nani? Na tuambie vile unajihisi. Wewe ni mfungwa ndio, lakini leo umepata fursa ya kupiga kura.
Yeah, my name is James John. I'm very happy to vote. This is our first time as we prison to vote. Yeah.
You'll allow me to ask how long you've been here at the Kingongo prison, if you don't mind?
This is 15 years.
15 years, and of course it's the first time for you to vote.
Yeah, it's my first time to vote. Yeah.
A message to Kenyans out there?
They vote wisely. Yeah, na kuna vita. Mtu akichaguana, ende nyumbani akoje resort. Just that. Yeah.
All right. Some of the voices from the inmates. Nani anataka nimpe fursa? Utazungumza?
Jina langu ni Paul Mudui Karoli. Ndio.
Unajihisi vipi na uniambie umekuwa hapa kwa muda gani?
Niko hapa kwa muda wa miaka inazidi kuwa miaka 4 sasa. Niko kwa rimadi bado naendelea na kesi. Lakini nimeonelea ni mzuri watu kupewa fursa hii ya kuchaguana juu mtu ako na haki na inaonekana hata akiwa gerezani bado haki yake inadumishwa.
Asante sana, nawatakia kila laheri. Betty, we've talked to some of the prisoners here at the Kingongo prison. We've heard also from the main man in charge, Bwana Patrick Arandu, who is in charge of this prison. Before we wind up, maybe our cameraman Clement Masombo can once again pan and show you the queue of prisoners who are waiting to cast their votes to elect leaders. It is the first time that prisoners are involved in this process. Therefore, there is a lot of excitement, and it's quite palpable, despite the chill and the rainy weather here in Nyeri County. So we are here just going around all the polling stations, showing you what is happening from across the region here in Nyeri County. Okay, back to you, Betty. We'll be joining you a little bit later.
All right, Carol, just before I let you go, earlier on you mentioned that the machines were taking some time to identify the voters. So far, has that been corrected? And what are the officials there saying in case that does not work? Are they ready to use the manual identification?
All right, Betty, from my experience, when I actually went also to cast my vote, I also had a chance to exercise my duty. I do have the mark in between my fingers because when you have nail polish, they can't apply the mark on your finger. They do it right in the middle. And it took a while. Before they could pick my fingerprints. Not that it refused to, but it was taking a bit long. They tried the first finger, the second, the third, the fourth one. That is when, you see, if this is happening to every person, or almost everybody, you see, there's a lot of lapse of time there before the machine can identify. So it's slowing the process by and large. But ultimately, it was able to identify my fingerprints, and I was able to vote and just go through